All right, hi everybody. I hope you're doing well. This is the last video of the 2025-2026 school year. So I'm going to do a quick demo of my Minecraft game that I made using some basic coding and also just some basic conditions with some gameplay elements. So I'll walk you through the project. I'll talk about how there's some similarities to what you would see in Unity, but this is going to be the game that I made. So when you go into the world, and I'll also show you this. So in Canvas, there's this assignment, and it has the code right here. So if you, like, for whatever reason, it should be attached to the world, but if it's not, when you download it and enter the game that I made, you can also import the code. So that both of these files are here. I also set up the block code to look like this, so that you could play the game, or if the code wasn't working, you could also just see how it is. So the basic premise of this game is that when I enter, I'm going to be somewhere around here, and you can see that I have a user interface right here. Um, Now it's starting in creative mode, so the one thing is, um, to actually get the gameplay experience, you'd want to put it in survival. But for the purposes of this, I can just kind of do a demo. So this is my world. When I start out, I have this board that tells you what you have to do. So you're in the zombie castle. You have to destroy 5 zombies, and then you're going to use this chest here to pick up this armor. And then when you go in, you have this pressure plate here, and you have the agent is here, of course, and then it's going to tell you that you need to defeat all the zombies to get out of the room. Now, from gameplay perspective, I could obviously just leave the room, and there were some things that I kind of struggled with getting the code to work, but in general, that's the basis of the game. So when you defeat the 5 zombies, then it'll teleport you out of the room, and you can go and get the diamonds that are in the treasure chest outside. So I'm going to go ahead and equip all of this stuff, and kind of show you how it works. So again, I'll go in, I'm going to take all of these things, and I'll kind of explain some of the conditions as well. Then I'm going to go ahead and add these to my character. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this, but I don't have it at this point. And then I have my sword, of course, that's right here. And the way that I've set the code, so if you wanted to see the code in the game, if you hit C, you have your make code project, you can select which one's attached, and then to get it to work in the game, you hit this start button. And you'll see that it'll say type start in the chat to begin fighting. You'll see that there's a sign up here. And again, I tried to make it as difficult as possible so that you couldn't just walk around the castle. And then when you go in, you have a blank room. You can see I have the lights, I have the torches, these glowstones, everything else. And I'm going to go ahead and hit T for chat, and I'm going to type in start. And when I hit start, you're going to see all the zombies appear. And then I just have to get them. So I have a counter there that kind of keeps track of how many I've eliminated. Okay, and one more. Then it teleports me outside into this last chamber, and then I right click, and then I have the diamonds that I can add to my inventory. And that is the basics of the game. Now I did put a door here because it kept teleporting me outside, and when I was in survival, it pretty much just locked me out of the area I wanted to be in. So this is the user interface, this is the game, and if I want to go in and go back around, I can. And if I wanted to play again, I could go in and hit start once I ran the code again. So that's the entire game. Again, very simple, but still a full game. So I'm briefly going to explain the code, and then that'll be it. So when I hit C, The first thing is when I have my start method at the beginning, I have two variables, which are zombie kills and game started to 0. So the game started is actually what's called a Boolean variable, which means it's either true or false. So if it's 0, it's false. It means it doesn't have a value. And then the zombie kills it's keeping track of how many zombies that I've eliminated. So that is also 0. I also have something that's going to appear in the chat over here, which you saw. It says type start in the chat to begin fighting. And I probably will, because the case does matter, I'm going to just go right here. So let's just test that real quick. When you hit play, there you go. Okay, so I have that. Now, when I click start, what's going to happen is I'm going to see this if statement. So if the game started as 0, which it is, because when I started the game it's 0, then I'm going to change the value to 1, which means I'm starting the game. And then I'm also setting this to 0 as well. Just like we saw before, whenever you hit play or when you hit type start, it's going to say zombies arriving. And then I had it repeat 5 times how many times it was going to spawn in the zombie. I ran into a bit of an issue because I was picking specific coordinates inside of the room, and it kept spawning the zombies in the lava outside of the room. So I just, in kind of a moment of frustration, I just put 0, 0, 0, and it just suddenly worked. And when I researched it a bit more, what I found was that typing this in just as it is actually just sort of teleports the zombies to you. So it's kind of I don't know if it's a bug, it's probably intentional, but I think because this room is enclosed with this stone and it also has lava around it and locked doors and all of that, I think it was just kicking them out. So anyway, it ended up working, at least for the purposes of this game, so I just left it. And then the last part is kind of like the scoreboard. So I have this where it says if this monster, which is the same variable here, is killed, it's going to change that value by 1. And then if it gets to 5, it's going to tell me I escape, and it's going to teleport me to that location. Okay, so I'm going to run this one more time and just kind of do one more demo. So again, if I go to my inventory, I have all of my stuff right here. I have my sword. This is just some stuff I was using for builds. I'm going to walk in. I'm going to type T, and then I'm going to type start. And then you're going to see the zombies appear. So it repeated that 5 times. And it's in creative, so I can't really I could change it to survival, but I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. And go. And again, please don't judge my gameplay too much. Minecraft is actually pretty new to me. I've used it before, obviously, but doing the coding and stuff in Minecraft was a bit different. And there I am. So once I have eliminated the zombie, it teleports me. I think there is a bit of an issue because it's not teleporting me specifically to those coordinates, so it could be a relative value, but it works. I went to the outside area. I'm in the final maze. Again, I could make this. There's some things that I could refine about this in terms of coding, but this again works. There's a victory condition. There are user interface elements. There's a victory condition. There's coding. So like I said, this is one of the first full games that I've made in Minecraft, and it was a lot of fun. So if this is a project maybe you're not as comfortable with in something like Unity, making a game in Minecraft I think is really a lot of fun. There's a lot of comparisons between Unity and Minecraft, and I'll just show you a couple. Any of these things over here are kind of like your prefabs. You have your land, your terraforming, all of that you can build with the blocks, pretty similar to the terrain editor in Unity. And then once you're in here, I mean, just showing you a few lights. This is like a point light. This is like kind of an area light that you would see in Unity. So there's a lot of similarities in terms of game engines and how Minecraft works and how you can use code. The biggest difference I would say that took a bit to get used to And I can take this as well. I think this is kind of cool is that you can take it and move it into something like Python. You can see how these variables sort of work in code, but I'm going to leave it in the block code. But the biggest difference is that Minecraft is sort of a full world um, coding environment. So when you add code, you're not adding it to specific objects. And that's what kind of threw me off a little bit at first, because in Unity, you have your components and you're always adding scripts generally to components. But in Minecraft, it's kind of like in games where you have a game manager or a user interface manager as an empty game object, and you add your scripts to that. And then those scripts just sort of run over the entire scene. So that took a bit of like conceptual reframing for me, but once it clicked, again, it's a little bit easier because you're not thinking of it in terms of I'm just coding specific objects to do specific things. I'm coding within this entire game environment. So you just think about again when you can start, what do you do? If you have a zombie, what do you do when you type in like on command? So I thought that this was really pretty cool, and I'm actually looking forward to going in and trying to make other types of games within Minecraft now that I have an understanding of it. So I hope you enjoy my game. I hope you have fun with the last project. You can also use this as a template if you want, if you wanted to change some things about it and just see what you could make. You could change the code, add different zombies. So I hope that you enjoy this, and I hope you had a great year. I enjoyed being your teacher, and hopefully you take future design or programming classes. So if I don't see you, have a great summer. Um, and next year, I also plan on making more videos with Minecraft and programming and everything else. All right. Bye, everybody.